Hey everyone, back again with a quick update thing. I know I said I had some important stuff going on, but I haven't really gotten started with that yet. But what I did do yesterday was pick up FF13. Uh, so, as a precursor, I went, when they announced this game 4 years ago, 3 years ago, really didn't think I would like it. They announced Final Fantasy Versus 13 at the same time, and that one to me looked a lot cooler. But you know, it's one of those games. It's like you have to buy it, you have to play it if you own a PS3 or 360 in this case. I got it for PS3 because I heard it was superior. But anyway, so I got it yesterday, and I come home and I'm like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy. And these are my first impressions. Now, I've only played it for about 4 hours, maybe. And I gotta say, I'm really not that impressed with it. Let me start off with the good stuff. Graphically, it is amazing. The textures, everything, it's just phenomenal. The voice actors, for the most part, do a pretty good job. Now, some of the characters are pretty bad, kind of annoying, but you're going to get that in any game. But this, pretty solid job. Like I said, I'm kind of very impressed from a technical standpoint, what this game is, what this game can do. Oh, cat. But now on to the bad stuff. As people have mentioned before, there's no cities in this game. Now, I haven't really gotten that far, so I know it's not going to change. I know there's no cities, but all your shopping is done through a shop mechanic in the save system, in the save points. And to me, I think that's just kind of a lackluster thing. As a big RPG fan, I kind of like the town stuff. But along with that, all the dungeons are linear. Again, these are things a lot of people have talked about. All dungeons are linear, and that makes it less interesting for me. Now, I agree, there's a lot of tedium to dungeon crawling and trying to find, you know, all this stuff and going down branching pathways. I get it, but this is so linear. It's straight shots 99% of the time, and that kind of pisses me off. Another big problem is and I will admit this, I've played all the Final Fantasy games, but a lot of my first Final Fantasy experiences, and probably some of my fondest memories, were with the PlayStation era games, 7, 8, 9, to a degree 10. I hated 12, didn't play 11. That was an MMO. So, you know, I'm kind of skewed in that way, but those games, to me, kind of had strong main characters, opened up very cinematically, but also grasped you. There seemed to be something important going on from the get-go. And they would throw terms at you that you might not know immediately, but you would come to find out. With 13, that's kind of not the case. And I think the problem is like, they almost demand you to know all these terms. There's Cocoon, there's Pulse, there's Fal'Cie, there's Icy, there's the markers, all this stuff, and you know, none of it is apparent at the beginning. And 4 hours in, I still kind of have little, if no clue, what's going on. And that could be me being an idiot, but just picking up the game and not, you know, obsessing over it for months and months and months. It's kind of a divide that I haven't crossed yet to this point in the gameplay. Speaking of the gameplay, the combat mechanics are completely switched from the old ones. It is an active time battle system, but you only control one person at a time, one person per battle, and at least at the start of the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ones I mentioned, 7, 8, 9, 10, from the start you kind of had a varying amount of attacks. Not a ton. You would gain stuff later, you would level up, that kind of thing. But in this, there's only attack, kind of like a special move, which to me just seems like an area radius damage thing. And potion, like you can use a potion or a Phoenix down. It doesn't really offer a ton of variety, and it's really hard to get sucked into, the battle system early on because it really kind of sucks. There's an auto battle feature, which I don't know why anybody wouldn't use it, because turn to turn it will pick the best combination of movesets for you. Now, unlike a straight bar from the previous games, you have 2 segmented bars in this one, and they fill up individually, and each one counts as an action, an attack or something. Stronger attacks or the area attacks take 2 of the bars, and then you have to wait. So I can see it getting better, but I'm saying 4 hours in, I'm just bored to tears with the combat. The other thing they have is this like stagger meter. It's basically a bar separate from the enemy's health bar, and it represents a percentage. And if you constantly attack the enemy, which if you're only controlling one character, I don't know why you wouldn't focus on one enemy and move on to the other. The bar raises, and once it gets full, the enemy's staggered, and you do more damage to them. I have no idea how this works, though, because I have focused all my attacks, and certain situations, it's like the bar fills up immediately, and certain situations it doesn't fill up, and I kill the thing. It really doesn't make any sense to me, unless it's like a combo meter thing, and it has something to do with my party members. I don't know. But I'm kind of thrown off by that. But the whole thing just doesn't seem very dynamic. Like so far, I don't give a crap about anybody in the game. And I've said this before, not on YouTube, and I don't mean this to come off as sexist, but I have a really hard time playing any game where the female is the main character. Now, in an RPG, you can kind of pick which characters you control and stuff like that, but it's fairly obvious that Lightning is the main character, and I don't like that. And I also don't like that there's not really a strong male character. There's this guy Snow who's like a beat 'em up thing. And let me get back to one point. I'm sorry, should have mentioned this earlier. Graphically, the game is beautiful. I hate the designs. I hate this overly futuristic look. I hate the designs of the costumes. I hate the designs of the characters. You got people with orange hair and like crazy shit. I realize that this is the guy that created like Cloud and all those brooding characters, but progressively his character design has gotten sloppy and overly complicated and a bit ridiculous, frankly. And I just aesthetically, the game is not pleasing to me. There are some gorgeous things about the aesthetics, but most of it I don't personally like. But getting back to it, there's not a strong main character. It's a lot of generic stuff. The writing in the game is kind of horrible, very generic, very we have to stop them. Stupid stuff like that. There's not a lot of depth. But again, this is 4 hours into the game. There's a ton left to go. Obviously a huge game. But I don't know. It's like I'm really pumped for God of War next week, and I kind of got this to bridge the gap, and also because I love RPGs, and also because it's like this huge title. But it's kind of let me down so far. It doesn't capture the magic that those previous games did. And I don't know, it could change. Hopefully, I'll remember to post a full review when I actually finish it. But right now, I'm kind of finding the experience a little lackluster. And that's a little disappointing to me. I really want to like this game, but I don't right now. So, anyway, that's it for now. More stuff to come. I will try to update a little more often. I know I say that every time and then I don't, but I will. But if you have any questions about the game, ask me and I'll see what I can do. Although, obviously, I said I'm kind of clueless about it. So, anyway, hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you later.